Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. I am glad to see you all today. I have some sweet projects from On the Farm, a bundle that is in the new January to April mini catalog, and I've paired it with a celebration selection, the coordinating Day at the Farm Designer Series paper. And I'm going to get the camera off my face really, really quickly because my hair is still really struggling today. So let's just switch down. I know nobody has found me yet, and that y'all will. I have faith that you will. So. This is the stamp set that we are working with today. It is On the Farm. It has coordinating dies with it, and you really need to see all of these to appreciate what you have. We've got this rolling hill here, then we have these three that kind of correspond to this here. Then of course we have the cow and the sheep. We even have an opportunity to add some little curls to that sheep. Um, the two pigs cut out together, and then we have two little pigs. Are there two? Yeah, two small ones um, that just cut out. Then there are three little ducklings, a mama duck. Um, there's the hen, the clouds, the barn, the hay bale, the windmill. Here's a couple of small cows. I'm trying to decide what this thing is here. I can't quite figure it out. They're flowers. What is that little thing? I guess I'm going to have to cut it out, try and figure out how to stamp it or not. Then here is the silo that's here. So lots and lots of dies here. I love that there are multiples because in one of the cards that we make, we're going to use three little ducks here. And so that was nice to only have to run it through one time. This little die looks like it goes here. Um, and I'm wondering, okay, so there's that one. This actually usually helps tremendously when I'm stuck trying to figure out what goes with what. And these the coordinating paper actually cuts these out, many of these shapes out as well. So I know I used the sheep and the cow today. Um, okay, I know y'all think I'm crazy, but okay, so this is kind of a bonus. Okay, this is just a shape on its own. Look, then here are the little trees, the hay bale, um, the little hen. Hello, how are you, Susan? So I am just playing with the dies right now, lining up everything that goes along with this. So, and look, we still have all of these little pigs, the curly for the sheep. I guess I could have put that on there. Um, this is the only one that I can't identify. Doesn't look like it has a stamp that goes with it, so it's something that you'd have on a farm that I don't know. We're gonna have to play with it. And then, of course, the little rolling hills as well. And then these kind of go along with this. So that's amazing. Um, all of these plus these. Now, I'll never get them back on this little card the same way. And you know, our dies don't come this way. I put them on here to help me um, keep up with them. I put them like this on the card in the stamp set when they're like this, when they are so coordinating. Is that my word that I want to use? Oh, you don't have this yet. I I got this and I'm really excited about it, and I'm going to share a project that I want to do with you for my grandson. So I have a 2.5-year-old grandson named River, and you know I am a big fan of um, foam sheets. And this pack of paper has this huge scene. Let me pull the camera out so I can show. So this big 12 by 12 scene. So I want to cut out some of the pigs and the sheep and the cows, um, and create a lot more animals that he can use. And if I cut them out on foam sheets, then I can put a little magnet on the back of them, and they'll be pretty sturdy for him to make his own little scene. And then I thought I could also do his name, do the letters of his name. I could do, sheep, cow, tree, and make it even more educational doing it that way. But I thought this will be a great one, and then this one as well. We have that kit that's the 12 by 12 magnetic board, and so that's what I'll use as the background. So I'll put that on the magnetic board. I'm not going to laminate this or anything. It's not meant to be, a long-term activity. He'll lose interest in it. But the foam sheets make it super fun, and I thought we might even try that with one of these because, uh-oh, I just shot somebody across the room. Let's just do that real fast. Let's look at this. So this is what I would do. My foam sheets are here. So the foam sheets come as a pack of 6, and they're like 4 1/4 by 4, roughly. And they are so fun for things like this. I don't know how well it would work with a punch, but it's pretty fun with dies. Okay, so now I know that looks crazy, but I'm only doing this because I don't want sticky extra. Okay, so now I've got this. I can actually peel that off. Grab my little pigs. Easier said than done. Gosh, I can't get anything. They'll go on like this. So this is kind of a bonus project. This is not part of our class today, but oh, I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so that just was really loud in my ears. Okay, so I've lined that up. Now I'll put that down to hold my die in place. So Susan, have you played with the foam sheets? Because they're lots of fun. Like the adhesive sheets, which give you a solid adhesive back. Okay, there is one more piece that I need to do for River's set because I don't want this part to be all sticky. So I'm going to grab it doesn't matter, any color will do. I'm going to grab a piece of cardstock and peel it to the back because I want to put a magnet to the back of this. I'm not trying to stick it down permanently to the sheet. And yeah, it'll take a little elbow grease to get this going. All right. Well, the foam sheets are in the main catalog with the other adhesives. I want to say that's around page 127. All right. Now, when we peel all this apart, my die to put back over there. And then I have my pigs, and you see they're real sturdy. And then I'll put a little magnet on the back here, and then he's got little pigs that he can move around on that scene. They'll just be magnets. So anyway, that's a project. We'll see. I had Hazel and Nolan, so I had River's big sister and baby brother on Sunday, and so now I need a date with River. So maybe that's something that we can do together. Okay, now what else do I have to show you? This is a bit of an explanation. So on my blog, there is the bottom part of it says, you know, with an order, qualifying order this month, you'll receive a set of tutorials for free. And I've just discovered that the automation portion of this is not working. So I've got some catch up to do with former months and getting those tutorial sets out to people. And then figure out how to fix the automation for going forward. But this is my card for the February set of tutorials. And I just thought it was so cute. Just this sweet little gnome on the front. And then I did a little scene in the inside. Because I was coloring with blends, I didn't want to just stamp that on the back and then color because then they would all show through here. And I didn't necessarily want to add another white full layer. So I just decided I would play with vellum and just see how that looked. And I think it looks really, really, you know, kind of different. Now the squirrel, I did stamp on white and I glued him down, but the mushroom I stamped on vellum, colored him with blends, and then was able to cleverly use some adhesive on these darker parts of what I had colored. So, um, so pulled that out mainly to remind myself to share with you that the automatic tutorial process is not working really well. Um, Here are the cards that we're going to make today. So this one, I just stamped little trees on the inside. And then this one, I didn't think this was going to be my favorite, but it kind of is a front runner. But just this is actually just die cut from the paper. This is stamped and die cut. There aren't any clouds in the paper. And then this one. So here's those three little ducks. So I was able to cut all three of those with one run through. And then the little sheep is stamped and die cut, or die cut and stamped, whichever way you prefer to go. So let's take a look at the kit, because as you know, with a $35 purchase, you'll get the supplies to make two each of the three designs. So you've got all your card bases, your DSP. These die cuts are cut for you because they're not part of the bundle. And then you have this sheet. This is where you'll you'll die cut your sheep, and you'll stamp and die cut, or die cut and stamp, whichever. And then this one is for the little ducklings. And then your labels for your greetings are already done for you. I do the die cutting and the punching and the embossing. That is not part of whatever the featured bundle is. And then for this one, you can see the circles. All the circles are done. The white circles are hiding, but they're there. There they are. And then you have the white for the front and the back, and you have your ribbon. And I'm kind of upset. I have an order that's come in by FedEx today. The FedEx truck has already been in the neighborhood, but he did not bring my order. But the bling that I want to use on these cards is on that truck. So then this is the other card, and I've included the paper images, the DSP images to die cut and use, and the two circles, everything else, and then this piece for the greeting. All right, so let's get started. The details for that, how you get the class kit, are on my blog at michellesalcho.com. If you're part of my newsletter, then the class gets announced in the newsletter as well. All right, let's start with our little cherry cobbler card. And so we've got the cherry cobbler base, and then we have a black for outside, a white for outside, a white for inside, and then the two pieces of DSP, and the black circle, and my white circle. Now you can use the layering circles, you can use stitched shapes. If you've got the circle punches that are no longer current, you could use those to do your circles as well. And my little sheep. I put him away. Oh no, he's on the sheep is on the Stamparatus, which is down here. Okay, so you know what? We may need to do this one. We're going to give it a try. Um, I've already got the little sheep on the die because I need it for the next card. I should have put these in order. All right, so they're already on my Stamparatus. I know where it's going to stamp. I think you can see. So you can see I've got this one lined up and I've got my template kind of taped down. Then for this card, I really just want him, yeah, not having planned to stamp him this way, I'm not entirely sure that this is going to be the best way to do it. Typically, I would not use the Stamparatus for this card. I just wanted it for the other one. But I've stamped him down in Memento Black, and he worked just fine. So that's the good news. My desk is a bit crowded this morning. So Susan, since it's just you and me so far, we'll just chatter away if that works for you. This weekend, my husband had a friend visit from out of town that he grew up with, which was kind of fun. I did not know my husband back then, but these guys have been friends for a long time. And I'm just going to come add a little bit of smoky slate with my blend, just to give a little bit of color to this, because we know sheep are not totally white. Anyway, Brad lives in Kansas City, and he came to town. They had tickets to see Peter Frampton. And so I'll have to share a photo of them at the concert and getting ready. Brad had on a super cool leather jacket that was kind of black leather and had a skeleton. That's the only way I know how to describe it. I'll just have to show you. Now what I'm doing is pushing the color around with the color lifter, and that way it'll soften where I've put the gray and kind of add some gray into the other areas. It's kind of a cool way to color these light. He really doesn't have enough color on his legs though. So just going to add. So when you start working with blends, be sure to get a color lifter as well as the colors you want to play with. So you can see, can you see he's got a little gray to him. I don't know that you can see very well. But we added a little bit of gray to him. And then we're going to add some grass in. We can do pear pizzazz. And that way he's not going to be floating. I love this grass. I can see using it on lots of different So now we've just added some grass for him. The other thing that we do sometimes, I don't want to do it until it's dry, is you can kind of outline that in Pool Party, and kind of brings out the image a little bit as well. If we're going to do that, we'll have to come back to it, because if we did it now, the, what am I trying to say? it would probably bleed because that color lifter takes a little bit of time to dry. So I'm going to do this like so, and then we just need to stamp. Now, there are not a lot of greetings in this stamp set. From all of us, today is a good day, thinking happy thoughts of you. And I wanted something, long here, so I used from all of us, and I'll use that again just to stay with the stamp. But you can always pull in, mix and match to your heart's content. I'm sure you didn't really need my permission for that, but Now when I'm working with a cling stamp, especially one that's got all of this, all around this is curved, I don't have a straight edge to really try and figure out where my stamp is. So, but luckily enough, my sticker seems to be in pretty good placement. So, but now I still might stick my head in this. And that's not straight, but it's straight enough. All right, so that's all of our stamping for this card. The next thing we'll do is just assemble. There's so much Designer Series paper in the Celebration brochure. It's just amazing. Oh, I lied. There is one more piece of stamping to do. I stamped the trees on the inside, and I think this time I'm actually going to stamp them in Evening Evergreen instead of black, and then color them. And I did it way over to the edge. I intentionally let it go off the edge a little bit. And the first one I colored in kind of an old olive, but I am going to actually do these in, I might even do them in two different colors. Do Granny Apple Green here on the back, and I'm just following the artist lines to know where the darkest would be. And then I'll blend it in with the lighter color. The more layers of color you put down, the easier the blending, the softer the blending is. Now, sometimes we don't want a soft blend. And if you want to add some lightness, you can see I'm leaving that area pretty white to just maybe one pass through. And now I've left it light. And then I really like that, but I think we'll go ahead and show the other color. Oh my gosh. And these are Old Olive, light and dark, just to show that these trees are not the same. Lots of ways to work with your blends. Some people come in with all of their light, color the whole surface light, and then add dark accents. So it's all about personal preference. Just play. This is a fun stamp set because the images are pretty small. The adorable owls that we did last week, those are pretty fun to color as well. Coming up soon, we're going to play with the Fiesta, Taco Fiesta, I think is the name of it. And those are images to be colored. And of course, you've got lots of mediums to use for coloring as well. You can use the Stampin' Blends, which are the alcohol markers, or you can use watercolor pencils. Just lots of different choices here. All right, we're going to layer these two. I wonder if I can manage to put my phone. Okay, maybe I won't get any more dings. So Susan, my parents live in West Melbourne, Florida. They moved in the fall and they lived next door to us for about 10 years. This is a big change for us to have them so far away. And yeah, the weather there seems to be kind of nice. It was 26 on our way to school this morning. Okay, then I'm going to put my ribbon down, which I didn't cut for my card. And I do this in two pieces because I am not good at keeping the tension right. So I'm just running a little bit of tape along the back. And then, whoops, I missed. I didn't quite go up high enough on this side. Oh my, that's funny. Oh, I cut this really short over here. Oh, it's on there, but just barely. Well, it's not going to go anywhere. And I could have adjusted that ribbon around. It's pretty sticky. Right, and then to put this down, I am just trying to have an even border on the three sides. Put that down. And then I decided to put this little guy up on dimensionals. Now, every scene is going to be a little bit different on this. Look at the back. The back side of this paper would let you do, gosh, use it with any stamp. I love that about much of our paper, that there is kind of a specific design or pattern on one side, and then something that is far more generic, just adding color on the other side. And I'd say that my plaid is probably telling me that I need to bring that down a bit on this side. Okay, I can't tell for sure. I'll do that. Okay, then we're going to put this one on dimensionals as well. Come on. I put some fingernails on just before we started because my natural nail has glue all over it. I kind of got into putting on the press-on nails, and I actually just got some from Red Aspen to try. But that's not, these are not Red Aspen, these are just Walgreens. All right, and we need the punch because I'm not good at making a flag. So, whoops, it's already over here somewhere. And just going to flag the one end, line it up upside down so that I can see that it's pretty even if it's too narrow or too wide for that trough. And dimensional for this side. There we go. And then we'll cut a piece for the bow. And the bling will have to come later because FedEx is not here. And he's got all my door prizes from the new catalog launch, as well as some new stamp sets. There's a motorcycle suite in the new catalog, and you might remember my husband was in a bad motorcycle accident in May, And, at first I was like, oh, why didn't I have this sooner? When he was, because he's thinking right now that he's probably not going to ride anymore. Although I keep telling him that's not a decision he has to make right now. Um, and then, but I realized we still love motorcycles. They're beautiful, and the suite is amazing. So I will still make him motorcycle cards, and we still have friends that ride. So um, that is on the truck. At least I think it is. All right, there's card number 1. Minus a little bit of bling, but FedEx will show up eventually. Clean up a little bit, and we will move on to card number 2. Which honestly, I'm not sure what order they're in the tutorial. I do not remember, but there's the 2 versions of card number 1, pretty much the same. And then card number 2, let's do this one next. So this border is from the Basic Borders dies out of the annual catalog. And it, lots of borders in that. We'll just pull it out and show you real fast. Got my catalog all earmarked so that I can find things. Okay, here are the Basic Borders dies, so you can see all these fun borders that you can make with it. And when you cut out this zigzag rickrack, or whatever you want to call it, you could actually just take a piece of cardstock and cut it in half, and then you would have 2 at one time, which is what we have for this one. Although I didn't realize that until I'd already cut out several. So you may need to trim yours down or tuck it under the DSP on the bottom. The other thing that I was playing with when I was looking at this paper was actually using a blend and adding some color. So I just took the light balmy blue blend and added a stripe and came up with an entirely different pattern for this paper. So, possibilities, so many possibilities. All right, oh, don't lose my little ducks over here. Let's, my bone folder ran away. It's too quiet in here. Hardin's back at school. Greg's in the office in Brentwood today. The cats and the dog must be sleeping. There was so much activity this weekend, I guess I'm a little lost now that it's gotten quiet. And there's that. So I have one border that's pretty thin, would probably be the right width, but let's play with one that is a little long, and I'll show you how you can use a longer piece. And there's some advantages to that too, because with a longer piece, I can just take my tape runner, my seal, and run a strip of tape all the way across instead of adding little dots of glue, which is what I did on the other one. And that's a silicone mat that I just used to work with the tape, because it will just peel right off. And line that up like so. I think that's pretty good. And then put this down on top. I've actually got a little more showing than I want, so I'm going to pull that down. See how we like that. I like that a little better. I can see though that my paper is not on, I don't know, it didn't look like it was on straight there for a minute. That's what grid paper is for. There, that looks better. Then we'll come along and do this one. With a $50 order, I will include a spool of linen thread that you'll use on this card and so many other cards. It's definitely I use so much of it. There we go. Don't think I could have done that any more awkwardly. Then when I'm working with linen thread and a lot of times baker's twine too, I will tie a knot to keep it still. I can shuffle this around where I need it when I'm done. Oh boy, that was so not. Okay, so what not to do? I did not get that. Did not get the tension out of that, and that's the whole purpose for tying a knot. Okay, let's try that again. So there it is with hello, Lori. Well, you've had a busy day already. Already into the doctor and such. Okay, so we're going to try this again. Pull this off, tuck that under there. Now, much, much better. And I want my knot way over here. So if I curl up my cardstock, I can move it pretty easily. And then I'll pull it up there. And if I wanted it to stay in place, I could always add a glue dot. Get that a little tight. Pull it down. Oh, good. I'm glad you had a good visit. Okay, so now we have our sheep. We need to stamp our greeting on this and then add our little ducklings. So I'm going to try and push my little ducklings up in the corner and grab that stamparatus again so we can stamp our sheep. Now remember, you will have a piece of paper to die cut and stamp yourself. Okay, I put stuff on top of it. All right, got this all lined up. I need something over here to, like a stamp case. That's all in the corner. Make sure that that's still in the corner. And then I'm going to ink this up in basic gray. Or I wonder if I should do black. Well, basic gray is in my hand. Basic gray is what I'm using. There's that. Pick it up. That's a take your pick tool. Oh my gosh, I'm not sure how I functioned before without it. And I did cut a chamois up into multiple pieces so that I can easily clean up my stamparatus. Stack more stuff back on top of it. And then we'll do this. Oh, gosh. Okay, thought I turned off notice. That was so loud in my ear. Man. All right. We're going to do the same thing with this sheep that we did with the other one. It's kind of funny. When I was looking at the card designs, I kept thinking, oh, I can't use cows on all of these. And then I just realized I've used a lot of sheep on this. So there's the smoky slate. Now we'll grab a color lifter and push that around. Sometimes with color lifters, it's handy to have one that is really wet for things like this. And then sometimes you might want it a little more dry. But this is really pulling the smoky slate from the lines I drew and pushing it into the body of the sheep. And if I wanted to add more curls to that, I would just come back with smoky slate after this dried, and I could add more definition to it. Stamp on this one. So I've got From All of Us on this one as well. Oh, and some, I must have picked that up from my chamois. Transferred some ink. All right, and I want this to be kind of up in the upper right. A little difficult without having it. Goodness gracious. So let's build him. Build this little card. I just need really one-dimensional. Line him up like that. And then these little ducklings, I'm going to put down with just a dab of glue. Well, actually, no, I didn't want to do that. I want to pick them up from the front side so that I have the body right there to put my glue on. So tomorrow, my stampers will be here for to make birthday cards. One set coming to do that, and another set coming to do clubs. Some people are doing both. And I've got the stylus on this end. I think I want the pointy end. Can I move him around? So tomorrow's a busy day too. Next month for the birthday class, we're going to be using the Sweet Citrus bundle. And I'm not quite sure what club is going to be yet. I'm going to get busy thinking about that. All right, little ducky, you're down too far. So there are those little ducks all in a row. Too cute. And they're too wet for me to add the seal. So I'm just going to add a little strip of glue. And then put this down here. And I will use my grid paper to help me line this up. So I'm using that line and this line. And you need to go back that way a little bit. And then we'll trim our ribbon. And again, there's some bling coming. That FedEx truck just has not shown up yet. But that is the second card for today. Too cute. And then the third card is this one, and we're going to use some new products on this one, this card. So again, creating a background with the designer series paper. Did I talk about the paper share? That paper share ends tomorrow. So if you want to get a little bit of all the paper, then head over to my website and shop for that. That ends tomorrow night. All right, the only thing we need to stamp, well, the first thing we need to stamp, we're going to stamp the cloud for this card. Get out my bits. I've got a piece of ribbon, the designer series paper, the sheep and the cow that I've already die cut from the paper, my die cut circle, and my cloud is already die cut. And it's going to line up right there. And I'm going to do a little smoky slate, just a light gray for that cloud. I suppose you could do balmy blue and have some blue skies instead of gray skies. And I'll pick him up. If you're not sure how to use the Stamparatus this way, I am working to add some videos on YouTube to talk about, the Stamparatus, the trimmer, various things that you may not know about them, because in classes like this, we go too fast, and it's not an opportunity to teach a lot about those techniques. We're busy trying to get the card made. So in the mini catalog, we have the small blending brushes. So you can see the head's smaller, and they're almost, well, there's a little shorter. The set of 3, and then we have this little storage for them as well. Now, we're going to use the small ones for this. If you rinse these out pretty quickly, wipe them with a microfiber cloth, they come clean pretty quickly. All right, so I've got balmy blue, and I'm going to create the sky first. I'm just going to ink this up a little bit, and then I'm going to start off my paper and come on and just get this as dark as I want it. You can start from a different side. I can create darker spots, whatever I want, and then I can go just wash that, and that blue will come out pretty much. Then I want Pear Pizzazz for the green. You do not need a blending brush for every color. Like I said, they let's see, I got a really heavy spot there that I might not have wanted. I'm just blending these up. You might have one brush for greens, one brush for blues, one for reds, but you don't need one for every color. And so the whole purpose of coming off your paper first and then coming on is to avoid the blotches like this. Now, I think that I'm going to be able to work with that. It's not going to be, oops, I'm going to leave this out because I want to stamp some grass. And actually the grass, oops, that's kind of in the blue. Well, I think my sheep's going to have to hide that. I think that's going to be okay. And one could argue that you could do this with your chamois, and look, that's pretty much coming clean. But just rinse them with water, a microfiber cloth, and they will come clean for you. Even mine that look dirty over here, they're just stained. The ink is not necessarily going to transfer. It's all about the blend. All right, so let's get dimensionals on these guys. gosh, so sticky. And I think that'll work there. Then the sheet pretty much covers up my grass in the sky. And I'll add a cloud. So pretty simple. Then for the greeting, I am going to use, I think I'll try thinking happy thoughts. And pick that up. And I want some black. Let's see how this stamps. Okay, that's pretty good. And then, oh, you know what that's going to be? Well, let's just give it a try. And we can probably, let's see if this is too wide. It's pretty close. Okay. So I need a handle. So I'm going to grab this little Post-it note over here. Create a handle for myself. And it is wider than my, this may not be perfect. I don't think I promised perfection. Okay, so I can take that little extra though. I don't know if you can see it left a tail. And I could just cut it down just like that. So do you wonder if I talk to myself when you're not here? The answer would be yes, I do. I just pretend I have an audience, I guess. But I know that I do. So here are the back sides. You can see they're just patterns that you could use many different ways. I'll do the chicken wire. So I think it was a few days ago, maybe yesterday, Erica Serwin actually used chicken wire on her card that she had gotten from Amazon. I thought about using the mesh, the silver mesh, but opted not. All right, and then I've got a piece. This is ribbon from the annual catalog. It's a natural ribbon. And hopefully I've drawn enough of a line. And I'm just kind of using that chicken wire as a gauge as to how to line it up. That's a pretty haphazard, boy, that really needs a bone folder. Furnish that score line. So tomorrow I will have another card on the blog, and it will be our 4th template for 2023. So there's a new template every week so that at the end of the year we will have at least 52 card recipes, sketches, however you want to think about them, to follow to get our creativity going when we are card making. I'm so excited about that. It's something I've wanted to have for myself for a long time, and I think it will be a really useful tool because then I'll be able to reference, This is template, 23002. Using it here with the different stamp set and paper. And we'll just build on it from there. Kind of like Angie Judah does this with her boxes. She'll say that this is box template such and such. And I don't make as many boxes, but I make a lot of cards. Okay, I feel like, yep, I'm taking a big chance here. Cutting it down and doing it with my scissors, not the trimmer. But it just looks too... There we go. All right, so come back tomorrow on the blog. There's no video, but there'll be a blog post with the tutorial and photos for the 4th template. It will feature On the Farm again. And then you have until Friday to place a qualifying order and get the supplies to make 2 each of these 3 cards yourself. And this week, with a $50 order, you'll get the linen thread, a bolt of linen thread, along with your make and takes. And of course, with a $50 order, you'll qualify for celebration as well. So that's all for today, folks. I hope that you have a great day and that you'll be back. Let's see, next Tuesday, I'll be back again for a class to go. And tomorrow night, the paper share ends. I can't think of anything else I need to tell you. Guys, have a great day. I'm so glad that you were here with me. Bye-bye.